So hey guys, this is Brent from Side by Side Fury, and today we're going to talk about the Bomber. They pulled me out of the back and changed my clothes and made me look all good. But it's all good. My Bomber, it's kind of iconic now that everybody sees it and recognizes it. It's been to Sand Hollow, it's been Moab many times. But when we first started building this, I just picked up a Turbo S because that was my machine of choice. And I decided that, as we do here at Side by Side Fury, we like doing the theme build, Spider-Man and the Joker and everybody like that. So, I thought to myself, hey, colors, scheme, not really a nostalgia, like say military guy, but I thought it was pretty cool. I started looking at bombers and, all the different aircraft that was out there. And I came across the Memphis Belle, and I said, that'd be really cool to make something that was kind of nostalgic and color scheme for the Memphis Belle. So the colors, the olive green and the rhino gray and everything was particular for the Memphis Belle. One thing that I really enjoyed when building this is that I got with Tyler and I asked him, I said, hey, I want to have a pretty good field of view. So we went 2 inches higher on the A pillar, and we kept the B pillar the same as what we usually do on most cages. So we didn't have as much of a radius roof. And then we went back to the C pillar, and I wanted it to be 2 inches higher so that I could have just an absolute ton of room for speakers and a particle separator and anything I wanted to add. I had them build me custom doors a little bit higher, finished them off in the boat foam. So it's real quiet. I mean, it absorbs all that noise that you get from all the rattles and all the different noises that come out of you're inherent with a razor or any off-road machine. The front nose, I wanted it rounded, so it was like the nose of the Memphis Belle. Just kind of trying to do little things that would make it a little bit more nicer, a little softer, and also protect it. Casey lights with the old school. I'm pretty old, so I like old school. I like the old Baja look. Walker Evans and all those guys. We did there, and then KMC wheel with a Maxxis tire. Everybody recognizes the tire. Awesome tire. Everybody notices that they got cuts in them, and we were kind of playing one day, and I said, hey, what would happen if we siped this tire? So we took two different sets of tires. We took some KM3s, and we took some Maxxis tires, and we siped them over at Les Schwab. And they, I don't know, I think they might give me a little bit more of a cheater grip, but I don't think so. I mean, they just kind of look cool. Everybody's like, what'd you do? Take a knife to them, and it's just, it's come off the side machine. But suspension, as far as suspension goes, we went with Sandcraft limit straps, Eibach springs, and when you do suspension, it's all about the lengths and the angle and all the geometry and what makes that suspension go, what makes it work correctly and your weights. And I think we're sitting at a 400 over 500 pound spring on the front of this thing, King, because it's pretty heavy. We've got Sandcraft steering stabilizer, chrome ollie tie rods that come with a Sandcraft steering stabilizer. Can't do 35s without it. I mean, everybody wants to be cheap, and then next thing you know, you're buying a rack, and then you're redoing it all, and you just start out correctly, start out right the first time and get it done, build it the way you want it, and never look back. Obviously, HCR suspension. I love HCR. That's kind of it's always been my go-to choice. I think suspension, the beefier, the bigger, the better is, it's always better. I wanted a nice rounded front bumper so I could put the winch in it. Love Warn, great guys. Factor 55. We're all trying to debate on what that is actually called. If anybody wants to tell us exactly what this is called in the comments, go ahead, please, because we all called it a hookless winch hook, but it's Factor 55s. It works awesome, especially when you're using all the new stuff they got out for attaching your stuff to a cage or whatever. Nobody does hooks anymore. It's just one of those things. Obviously 5150 fangs, so they work as my turn signal lights, as well as if I want to, do the flashing, just about anything, any kind of colors you can do. Makes it work really good. Keller ball joints, obviously. I don't know that I would go anything but Kellers or something that's comparable to the strength. I have broken several ball joints, just happens, pins, and great thing about Kellers is it's probably the easiest ball joint to change pins on the trail. We did Holy Cross one day, come back, had no idea, and all of a sudden my right front tire fell off. Both upper and lower ball joints sheared. It probably didn't take us 30 minutes to winch it up and get them changed out, and away we went. Change the pins out, put a little bit more grease in it, and away we go. Little things that make a big difference. Gear reduction. When we started on this thing, even before we did the bomber cage and stuff, we did our basic gear reduction. At the time, that's pretty much all we could do. We did, maybe I think it's 24% in the low and whatever in the high overall. But since then, we've done what we call our turbo R gear reduction. That's another thing. Gear reductions, guys, if you're looking at gear reduction, if you're running 35s, you can go out and you can have a good time. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a clutch kit. You don't have to do a gear reduction. You don't have to put 35s on. But if you're going to go out there and you're going to spend money for 35s and you want to go out and you want to climb and you want to have a good time and you want to enjoy yourself, do it right. Anything, I don't give a shit if the thing came off the line. Gear reduction is a must. Anybody tells you otherwise, they probably haven't driven a car with a proper gear reduction done or proper with a clutch kit done. And if you're doing Moab, you're doing Sand Hollow, you're doing trails around here, you're climbing over rocks. If you're not doing a gear reduction with a larger tire, it kind of defeats the purpose. You're getting your clearance with the larger tire, but you're not getting anything else. Nothing's working as properly as it should be. But on this thing, we did obviously springs. We've done limit straps, and I hear people comment about limit straps. Oh, you don't need limit straps. Well, you don't need anything. You can get away with not doing a goddamn thing to your machine. You can just go out and drive it. But if you're going to make it right, and you're going to do it right, I don't know that you're going to be able to do it right without doing it proper as far as I'm concerned. But, you can not put limit straps on and you can bottom out your shock and you can rip the shit out of the shock. And I don't know how many times I've seen a machine come in here and the whole bottom of the shock has been pulled out and pulled apart. I mean, yeah, you don't need anything, but if you're going to build something to be semi-indestructible or take the abuse that we tend to put on our machines out there, I would say, do it right. Spend the extra money, do it right, do it once. We put all this into this machine. If I did it over again, I would, obviously there's some things that you learn and you change and you make things a little different. But as far as the way this thing turned out, it's so user-friendly and, I can get out, came back from Sand Hollow when I was out there at Trail Hero, and I can literally putz around and climb up, climb down, go anywhere I want to go. And have an absolute time and feel confident that I'm going to be able to get through an obstacle without, getting in a jam or having to get pulled out because I couldn't get out myself. TQR, as we were talking to Tyler and deciding what we wanted to put on this thing, I wanted a nice backup light, so he came up with this rear plate for the bumper. Rigid lights, obviously, they were designed for that. We remounted the camera, so it's got a nice view. Then the exhaust. I love Trinity, I love HMF. There's a few other ones out there that we sell a lot of, but getting old, again, I like quiet. I like to be able to sneak up on people. I really think the HMF is probably one of the quietest out there. So when we hit up HMF, when we built this, they were like, yep, definitely going to do the HMF. So we did put the side dump from Trinity only because because we could, and it makes it sound, it's like straight piping it. If it ever gets used, it's pretty surprising. Then you have CA Tech arms. We do the radius rods. We also do a lot of different radius rods here at Side by Side Fury, but the CA Techs, we had them repowdered, and then we had all the reliefs done. Love Gemco box. If anybody could make a box better, we'd buy it, but I don't think anybody out there bothers making something because this thing is so nice. We put in the integrated chase lights, and then again, like I say, Tyler made the spare tire carrier. I wanted it up out of the way. It was funny because, little story, when went to Missouri to pick up this cage, I had not seen it. He would not send me any pictures of it because he was like, well, the first time you're going to see it is when you come get it. So when I showed up, he's like, you're either going to absolutely love this or you're going to hate it, because they're from Missouri and they do a lot of trees. They're, a lot of low-hanging trees, and he's like, you're either going to rip the tire off and you're going to hate it. And I'm like, no, dude, I love it. It's, it's got that more Baja pre-run look. I want it up and out of everybody's way so I can always stash stuff in here. So did just an absolute amazing job on that. And then we just added we added touches here and there. And you can do that with whatever you're building, whatever cage you're building, whatever machine you're building. Quick release fire extinguishers, you always pray you never have to use those, or if you use them, you're using them on somebody else's rig and not your own. But everything worked out pretty good. Obviously, you guys have seen the Fury rock sliders, 1/4-inch plate steel, something that really is more protection, and they look good too. So this thing has a auxiliary fuel tank by AGM, which is an 8-gallon fuel system. It's got 4 gallons per tank, and they sit underneath the driver and passenger seat. It's also got the buddy system that I can fuel up somebody that's running out of gas on the side of the trail, which I've used several times in Moab. At 1 o'clock in the morning when you're coming out of behind the rocks and somebody runs out of gas in their rock crawler, it's always nice to have some extra fuel. So when we did interior on this thing, obviously we did Rockford Stage 5. It gives you a nice big sub. I think it's a 12-inch sub, 10-inch sub or a 12-inch sub. You got front pods, you got rear pods, great sound. Amazing sound for what it is, as far as everything. It covers all your bases, covers your highs, lows. We put overhead switches in here. I put the rugged radio up front so I could, easy access, nice little magnet mount. We put volume control for the speaker, so I got an auxiliary speaker for the rugged, as well as the headset jacks, if I ever put headsets in here. So everything's there's good. We build a kind of a cute but functional cup holder. Does a really good job of holding a can with a koozie on it, and plenty of switches for turning everything on and off. All the factory switches, plus switch. We usually do on any of the builds here. We always try to put nice USB rocker, receptacle for, when you and your gal are in here, the kids are in here, and everybody's got their phones, everybody's got video, everybody's running video, everybody's taking lots of pictures. You always got to be charging, so plug that sucker in anytime you get a chance. So B&M gated shifter, love it. It's a little tight with these big ass seats in here, but it gives you the ability to go from forward to reverse just as quick as you feel like you're going over backwards, so you got to go in reverse or you're going forward. Works really nice. Razorback belt temp gauge. When you go from crawling to the dunes and you get ready and you blow that belt up, you'll know it's almost there. And obviously Moab, you're street legal, and it doesn't mean it's Moab. A lot of these guys, whether you're in Idaho, whether in Utah, street legal kit. You got your hazard, your horn, your blinkers, auxiliary panel for all your extra lighting. So just little creature comforts seem to go a long ways, at least as far as I'm concerned. Most of our cages, we opt for what we do as a dome light or an interior lighting package. So we do LEDs, so more like a reading light, but when you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's dark and you have the ability to turn on your reading lights, or your marker lights, it turns out really nice. Just, little creature comforts, harnesses are everything. Seats, whether you like the PRP seats or just nice, comfortable seats. If you wanted heat, you can do heat. They're now PRP is making an optional. They're making an optional heat and cooled seat, so they really got with the program, which are nice. And we cut our seat deletes and we engineered them a little different, and you'll see that the cooler's tied down with turnbuckles. It is definitely not going anywhere, but it gives you ample storage. You can throw stuff back there, and you can tie it to the seat deletes, and nothing's going to go anywhere. Hopefully, I don't flip this thing upside down and have to test it, but I would think it would stay. I don't have a yard sale going out the back door as I flip it over one of these days. But I'm pretty chill when I drive. But so that should be a good overview of how the bomber was built and what we put into the bomber. And anytime you guys can comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Comments are always good. If you want to get into a build or you want to get into a new machine, there's nothing we can't build. It's just a matter of what do you want? What's your needs and desires? What's your wife's needs and desires as far as comfortability, making the seats and the harnesses and just making the creature comforts so that you out and enjoy. The longer you can stay out and enjoy the outdoors is better in my view. So, but let's go from there.
Run.